Hello.
Hey, everybody. Right, so welcome to the show then, everybody. We've got a fantastic show tonight with a brand new guest all the way from America. We have Adam Gabel. Do you want to say hello, Adam?
Hey, how are you? Nice to see you guys. I'm in Brooklyn, New York. I guess for you, maybe just America is enough, but for me, I just want to isolate.
We've heard of New York. Have you heard of New York, Lucy? It's reached over here. We've heard New York's.
Well, it's the state. I'm going for the state because I mean the thing is they named it twice.
Yeah, that's just lazy.
Just so it says Brooklyn, just to be more specific. I'll put Devon for me.
Not only is it the same name twice, but it's just a name we stole from you guys.
Yeah, I like that though. I like that. Like New Amsterdam, they got somewhere and they went, "Should we think of a new name?" No, well, it's a bit like Amsterdam. This place, we'll call it New Amsterdam. And they went, "No, let's pick someone else. Let's call it New York. That'll do." York's pretty. They're very similar. Have you ever been to Old York?
I've never been to Old York. I've been to
exactly the same.
Is that right?
Exactly the same as New York.
I'm not sure because I spent a lot of time in London, and London is not at all like New York. I can't imagine that York is like New York, because then London would have to be like a little bit like New York, but it's not at all. You guys walk through your trains all the way. That to me is the biggest difference. Like you don't have to wait until it stops to get away from a homeless person.
You can't walk through trains in New York?
No, I mean they have you have a door that opens. But you're not supposed to. Like you could do it, but it's frowned upon. But the ones in the where you can just go right through, that's pretty great. I like those a lot.
So I was getting flashbacks to Die Hard 3 because he goes through different compartments of Die Hard 3. So I thought maybe that was a special train. Or was that New York? No, is he in New York? He is in New York, isn't he?
Yeah, Die Hard. Well, you can, but it's like you're not supposed to, and it's not as easy as they make it out in like movies. I mean, we used to do it, but it's not. It's pretty dangerous. It's not like just in the ones in London where you just go from one car to another one. You could look right down the thing and see, oh, that guy's. There's my friend Liam from York down in the end there. So I'll head over there.
Yeah. Well, see, that's it. Now you're learning things about movies that you never knew. Fake things.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a whole lot of stuff that happens in Die Hard 3 that's accurate. I mean, if you're using the Die Hard series as your way of learning about Americans, it's not good. You got to go with Fast and the Furious. That's much more accurate.
Was that a documentary? Is it?
Yeah, I'll just say I'm much more like Vin Diesel than I am like Rich. Well, my life has gotten a lot better since Ludacris came into it. That's for you people who've seen 7 of the 8 Furious movies. Is it still the intro? Are we still? I mean, I've been talking for a long time. Are we into the meat of this thing yet?
We're in. This is it. We're beginning. What's hanging up behind you? Are they hats? Have you got hats hanging from?
Yeah, I got a lot of hats. I actually this you don't really know. This is part of the thing. I always wear the hat. Lucy actually called me the cat in the hat, which I really appreciate. So early on, I was watching a video on like ABC, like whatever, one of our networks, and they had like a thing about Zoom backgrounds because they said too many people are going for the fake ones. I don't like a fake one. They want you to put stuff in it that sort of indicates a little bit of who you are, gives you a sense of what the person is, like a more realistic set. So that's kind of what that is. I really own all of these hats, and when I moved into this apartment, all those hooks were there. I just kind of put it together. I don't want you to think. I mean, I do a lot of stuff, but those hooks were there.
I like it.
So, and then I don't know if you could see the lights. I call them Twinkie lights because I'm Jewish, and they were invented by one of my people. But you guys just stole them for your holiday, and I hung those up one year, and I just left them up. And then there's some more shit back there. I don't need to go.
To be honest, we took Jesus as well. To be honest, he was one of yours, wasn't he? And we thought we'll have him as well. He looks good.
You can have him. You can have him. He's that guy. That guy never shuts up. I don't. I mean, he's got a lot to say.
For me, I just have to move around the house each week, trying new places to see if I can get any kind of fucking internet reception. I am one step away from doing this on the stairs. There is not a room in this house where I have not attempted to do bloody stand-up.
I've also reverted almost to doing it on the stairs, but it's not about my internet. I do have a set of stairs over there.
I did a show this week in America on a Zoom thing.
Okay.
And I was in work, so I did it on my lunch break in work, but I had to go into like a cupboard, kind of like it was a big cupboard. It was a cupboard. So the guy said at one point you're going to go off and come back as a different character. And the room was so small, I couldn't go off screen. There was not enough room to go. So I just managed to squeeze off screen and then come back on. And he's like, "That you should have found somewhere bigger, really." I couldn't get off.
I mean, what about this? Could you just
that would have worked?
Could you just done that?
So, it's all good thinking about it.
I was just thinking that. Could you not just cover the camera with your hand?
Oh yeah. You're all professionals. I'm a beginner here.
You could have been like, all right, now I'm going to Disney World, and then I'll be right back.
Yeah, the Disney World's in New York. This is amazing. I'm learning everything here.
Yeah,
this is what it's all about, learning.
Or even Hollywood. You could go to Hollywood.
See, I knew America was really small. You could move around like New York, 2 steps up in New Hollywood.
That's honestly, you want to know about America, then just buy the travel books. That's the best way to find out about what is worth knowing, because that's all the people in the area know. I mean, you buy New York history and you go around asking people where Federal Hall is, they won't fucking know. But if you want to know where the giant Raggedy Ann doll is, that's something everybody knows.
We've got our team member Alex. We've got the full team here back together. Americanization. Alex in Michigan, Adam in Brooklyn. So we've got big world going on.
Big world.
Nice to meet you, Adam.
Nice to meet you. I'm kind of disappointed. I wanted to hear what other variation of the accent from the United Kingdom was about to come out, but you're from
it's Midwestern.
Are you in Detroit, Grand Rapids? I know a little bit about Michigan. What part of Michigan?
East of Detroit or west of Detroit, Ann Arbor.
No. Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn. Did she say that?
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Greatest place ever?
It's a pretty cool place, I'll tell you that. One time I was in Montreal, and I was working at this nightclub. Before I was a comedian, I used to do writing. So I was working in this nightclub in Montreal, and my mother had been to Nova Scotia a couple months before, and she bought me a shirt that said Canada. So I'm wearing the Canada shirt. I walk into the club, and there's a dude in the club who's from the Laurentian Mountains, which is like super rural Quebec. Like the guy barely spoke English. And he comes in, he's wearing a Brooklyn shirt. The same thing, I'm wearing a Canada shirt. And he just bought it. For him, it was just a brand, right? Like he'd never been to Brooklyn. He just bought it somewhere in Quebec.
It's weird. It is literally a small world. Last time, when I was in New York, we did 2 things. First, we got like a limo for some reason, drive the limo to the airport, which of course everyone remembers, JFK, went to JFK. Get out the limo. Someone's taking pictures of us, thinking we're somebody famous. We're not famous, obviously. Taking some pictures, and it was my wife's friend from school was in New York, outside JFK, so taking pictures of us coming up. And they didn't know neither of them knew they were there before Facebook, and it was just like a weird coincidence. And then in the airport,
Reagan.
It was weird. And then in the airport,
that happens in New York. New York is a place where you run into people.
Everybody is there. And then you're in the airport. So in the limo, it was like free drinks. So we obviously drank all the drinks. Then went into the airport, and then in the bookshop, where when you get your books and stuff before you go on a plane, was Yoko Ono. And I went, "That's Yoko Ono." My wife went, "No, it isn't." And she went over, and she was that drunk. She knocked Yoko Ono over. It was Yoko Ono over. Knocked her over. Yoko Ono fell into all the books like that. And then she walked off.
That's come up at every Thanksgiving, I'm sure.
Is it? So yeah.
I bet
I think-
Yoko Ono is used to people just walking up to her and pushing her over, right?
I don't
I
think
bet
she got knocked over though.
for her, it's the first time anyone ever pushed Yoko Ono over because she didn't think it was Yoko Ono. Most of the time, it's like, fucking me. You ruined my life. There was at least 3 more good albums.
Speaking on behalf of Alex and I, we have done 29 shows with you, Leon, and you've only just brought up the Yoko story.
That is true. You could have opened with that.
Saving all the celeb stories. You gotta piece these out. I'll give you the other stories later.
Is that her right?
Been going in Brooklyn. Is it back, or is it just coming back, or are you still keeping to online? Are you re-locked down? Some lockdowns are up, some lockdowns are down at the moment.
You know, it's strange because it's like everyone's saying this stuff about lockdown, but I don't see it. I mean, you know, most of the shows, I think there's a couple of venues in New York that are doing shows that, and I don't want to, everybody knows it's happening. So I'm not talking in the school by saying that it's happening, but people are doing shows indoors at clubs, just in defiance of regulations. And they're socially distanced and they're, look, to get 20 people to a comedy club on a Tuesday night, that's just kind of the way comedy is. In New York. So the rooms are some of these places are very, very poorly, I don't want to say very poorly ventilated. What I mean is they're sparsed out. So it's little more than, somebody announcing the specials in the corner of a restaurant. I mean, it's not like there's uproarious applause when you've got 4 people in the back of a bar. So there's that. The rooftop shows are still happening. The park shows are still happening. It's a lot of people going to other places. Like you can do shows in Westchester. You can do shows in New Jersey. You can do shows in Pennsylvania. You can do shows not that far out of the city. The problem is that they haven't. I think that even the people who were pro lockdown initially are concerned because the results seem to be the people who are making the decisions don't seem to speak effectively for everyone. And New York is a pretty liberal place. So if 75% of New Yorkers think that you're locked down, you don't want to make it political. And then the other thing I was going to say that's completely unrelated at all to that is that is escaped me at this moment. Anyway, whatever. I'm sorry. I went off on a tangent. That was a little.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
But we're doing shows in parks and we're doing shows on rooftops, and that's kind of what it is. And it's cool because audiences are, I feel like people are pretty. If you're at a comedy show, if you're sitting in the cold, if you're sitting in 45-degree weather in a park on a Thursday night to watch comedy, I mean, you're there. You know what I mean? You're not like you're not. You don't think, maybe I'll try it. You want to commit to it. So the audiences are pretty cool. People, it's hard to do comedy in the park, as I'm sure any of you would say. I mean, it's it's an environment where the natural response is crickets, right? You have to work so hard to overpower the crickets. I was doing comedy. I do comedy at this park near my house where I used to do Little League. And that's, to me, that's really cool. I mean, it's nice because now they let me get a turn. When I was a kid and I just had to sit on the bench. Yeah. The guy goes, the booker goes, I want you to go deep. And I was like, oh, okay. Like material wise, he goes, no, the stage is in left field. I wasn't even going to do that joke because I know from past experience that Lucy didn't get it when I told it last time, and I don't expect Leon. But Alex, you're from Michigan.
I know what you meant.
So that's
they only know cricket. I don't know if there's a left field in cricket.
There's no left field in cricket. I don't, and I didn't want to do the research and find out how to
I know what
it wasn't worth one.
I mean, look, 25% of the audience got that. 1/3 of the audience got that joke, which for me is
that's a win.
pretty good.
Don't worry,
I gotta laugh.
You're creasing us up here. You're creasing us up. There you go. There's a cricket joke for you. Put the cricket joke in. For our English members.
Hey.
Creasing us up. Okay, I'm gonna write that down for the next time I'm on a show in Britain.
These are for all the British in India.
I did it, and look, they're doing like in India. Actually, you can't even go to. There's so many cricket players. My neighborhood has a lot of people from the Indian Peninsula. So you got Indians, Bangladeshi, and Pakistani. So there's so many cricket players. You can't take your kids to the field to ride a bike because they're gonna get hit in the head with a fucking cricket ball, and those things hurt. They hurt. Yeah, and I mean those guys are serious. They'll push you out of the way if you're in one of the wickets, right? Don't stop, right? Gotta run back, right? I was doing a show in North Carolina outdoors, and there was like a freight train that came by in the middle, like it was completely drowned out my set. And then when it was, I had to tell all the people in the audience that I wasn't missing my way out of town. I was on the 9:55. I'm not sure.
That's a heck you can't beat.
Resonated.
So, how are you, Alex? Then how are you? How's things there? Back to normal or not?
We locked down again here in the state. No indoor dining in restaurants. No gatherings of more than 6 people, like period, with more than like 2 households. Like the numbers here got out of control, like worse than it was when it started. It's been tough. So the governor, strategically after the election, of course, was just like, hey, we got to shut it down. Otherwise, if you hurt yourself, you're not going to be able to get a bed in the hospital because it's for real. So comedy is definitely shut back down. I haven't done a show. I know I've seen some shows in some neighborhoods, some outside shows. A couple comedians I know from the state do like shows outside their house or stuff like that. But then they had to be like, look, there's restrictions for gatherings, so we have to shut ours down too. So even the private stuff, particularly here in Michigan, is just like not a thing. Like any of the venues that had great outdoor space that were doing well into this point, and now it's Michigan and it's snowing now. So I think it's pretty much be good for a minute. I mean, there's still some heaters probably, so maybe when this lockdown is over, but most people around here are thinking that it's going to go for a minute. They said 3 weeks. It's not going to be 3 weeks. It's going to probably, most likely, my bet is you won't see another show until 2021.
Yeah, probably about right. It's the same here. They've just locked down here again. So different states have locked down different bits. So yeah, but they're all locking down. Everything's shut. Schools are shut.
I mean, I should say that they did put a limit on indoor restrictions of up to 10 people. But as far as comedy, they never, even when things were sort of the loosest in restaurants, they never wanted people doing comedy indoors. And the general consensus about outdoor comedy is that it's not, and it's really not cold enough in New York. It's not cold enough just yet for it to be prohibitive, but it will be. I mean, I think there are people who have the idea that they'll continue into February, but that's, I think, ridiculous.
It's really hard to get an atmosphere outside. I've done stuff outside, and you just don't get that atmosphere because there's no pressure cooker. It doesn't build. It just evaporates. It's difficult, I find.
I think it depends on the environment. Like, I did a lot of stuff that was outdoor in a confined space, right? So it was like in the back of the coffee shop, and you walk into the front. There's 6 people inside. You get your coffee, and you walk to the back, and you sit outside. And then you have to go to the bathroom, but people don't congregate inside. When it's in the back and you've got 30 people and they've all got their coffee from that restaurant, they all paid to be there and they all bought their drink. If even if the top is open, if you got bricks pretty high, it's all right, stuff like that. People's backyards, I think, are pretty cool because people tend to get even more comfortable in their own backyards than they would in a comedy club. I mean, they're in, you got 30 people and they're all over at somebody's house. They're having a great fucking time.
Oh yeah, and then it's a party after.
Yeah, right.
They're all like, you know what? Even if it's not funny, I'm gonna stay for that 30 rack I see over there.
Yeah.
I don't even have to get a taxi home. I live here. I just go up to bed. All right, should we get going then? Oh, Lucy, how was the UK? Have you got anything?
Got some
Are you all
cat?
locked down?
It's either a case of hold the cat or the cat walks across the computer and completely turns off the show.
I've seen it happen.
Over here, we're locked down again. We were going to do our lockdown is lifted on December the 2nd. So we were going to plug on and do a show on the 12th, but the venue doesn't want us to go ahead with it because they still think that there's going to be a massive U-turn and people are going to book the tickets and they're going to be locked down again. At the moment, the one thing we can say for sure is no one has a fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah. Yep. And that's
luckily, yeah, exactly. So luckily, we've got online shows like Big World Small Talk. Adam and I, we do a weekly online mic every week, and it's just a case of scratching your itch that way, scratching your itch digitally.
Well, the good thing about it too is that the stream of consciousness online, everyone puts their jokes out so you can see them, so you can find out whether or not the joke you thought of is hack because 10 other comics said something totally similar. You get to find out what's original, or you can hear it all first and then steal it, come up with something original because you already heard all the stuff that's automatically come out already. So that makes it a little bit easier for your joke writing. Like, oh, did somebody already think of this?
I think the other thing that might pick up is that once everybody that the lockdown is, if there is, when people have to go inside for real, all the people who were doing shows in March and April and then who can't stop doing their shows, those people will be able to pick their shows up right away because they have everything's already in place. So they don't have to figure out where they're going to advertise, what they're going to call the show, how to use the program, all that stuff. So my hope is that when the Zoom, I've already got a couple of Zoom shows booked for December, and hopefully there'll just be more to pick up. I do agree. I think that the online audience, expands the people you can do the same jokes for and work in a variety of different ways that could never happen anywhere else. Like I would never think about that baseball joke as like a uniquely American joke, except for the fact that time I told it, Lucy was like, I don't know what that means, and somebody else had to explain it to her.
Yeah.
Serve a purpose.
Should we start with questions?
Yeah.
Go on, Lucy. You go. I've got something different this time. Horn was last time.
Oh
gosh.
An Amsterdam town.
What is that? What is that?
Right.
Tower.
You got a building?
I wasn't supposed to bring something, was I?
No. You're okay.
No, you brought it.
No.
Although you've got hats.
Just got your question at the end.
All right, okay.
You've got questions in your hat. We wouldn't have enough time for him to pick which hat. Right. This was asked ages ago, but I put it back in the jar, hoping I'd one day when Alex was here because it's a great question. So, boys and girls, if you could time travel to watch an event, which event would it be?
I don't remember what I said last time. Oh yeah, so I'll go first.
I remember what I said.
I think I said this last time, but I think I'll say it again. I definitely go back to when Jesus was about, before he got killed, not on a cross or something. Go a bit before he was still relatively happy, and then just ask him direct questions like, how do you feel about gay people? Just let me write it down. Just you like them, you don't like them. Can they do it? Can they not do it? What can they do? What can't they do? Just be clear. We'll get it written down. Get it just written down, indefinite, done. Okay, get that all written down. Get everything checked, and then say in the future, if there's a thing like a computer, try and explain the computers to them, and people are on computers, and and they're doing this on computers. Is this bad? Is this good? And then just get it all sort of codified. I wouldn't even have to write it down. I just tape him. I just get him on my phone. So just look in this box.
Also, look right into the camera. I want to make sure everybody know what you look like.
First of all, you don't look like we expected.
That's got a filter on it. What's the contrast on that? Let's raise the contrast on that. Artificial.
Although I'd be very tempted to do like Back to the Future, give him a letter. Say, open this. Just after you've had this big meal in a restaurant with your 12 disciples, after that meal, open this up. It's got this instructions. A little bit of money you can, but not before, but after
a
that
bit
meal.
Silver.
Yeah.
First of all, would you be tempted to get Jesus Christ on a Snapchat filter so he's got like doggy ears and like the flappity tongue? I mean, how far if you had Jesus?
I keep that for me.
Would you get Snapchat on it?
I would put Jesus's face on one of those like face app WAP videos. That'd be really perfect. That's a perfect. Right, it'd be like wet ass Protestant. I don't know. It was something else. That's not quite right. That's not a really good one. But something like that to me is the perfect place for Jesus' face.
I'll be honest. I would definitely have him doing promos for me show on my website and stuff. I'm Jesus, and I watch Big World Small Talk.
Yeah. Sponsored by ChristianMingo.com.
That's my plan. Right, who's next?
For my date, I'm going to go back to there's a particular video that I love watching, and it's in 70s. It's in Vegas. You can smell the hairspray and bronzer, and it was when the Four Tops and the Temptons did a co-pro. And you look at the people's faces in that, and each and every person in there is so fucking smug. They know that they are watching the concert of a fucking lifetime, and they're applauding the band, but they're applauding each other for being there. It's just so amazing. That is the night I would want to be. I want sequins. I want shoulder pads. I want pinched up hair. I want blusher. I want the full works.
I think I'd like to go back. I'd like to go back to the beginning of this show so that I could write down anything that I said off the top of my head. That was because I'm not. I should have been recording this, and I'm not recording this. So for me, I'm going to use it just to.
I thought you were going to write yourself a letter and say, "Open the letter. Do not appear on this show. Hang up or move the hats."
No. I mean, I don't. No, I mean, I don't regret. Do you? Maybe you want to go back in time and have me watch myself, so then I can make the decision. But I was happy to be here. I want to make sure I write down what I said. Usually, I record myself. But
don't worry. It'll be
luckily, all of this show is available to watch back on our YouTube channel, and on our Facebook channel, and even I think it's on Twitch as well. So don't worry, I'll send you the link.
So then can I take back my thing?
Yes.
Can I take back my thing? Okay, I'll come up with
It's on Spotify. It's on everything.
Okay. Oh, all right. So I'll go back in time to last week because I missed your show last week, and I'd love to watch it live. So let's do that.
Or you could just. Oh no, you want to watch it live? Okay, yeah.
That's the point.
You could just watch it now and pretend it was live. Well, not now, but after.
Right, I can watch it a week.
I get you.
It's weird because in order for it to be live, I still have to go to London because right now I'm 5 hours behind you. Even though it's live, I feel like I'm behind you. I feel like this. Maybe you recorded this 5 hours ago. I don't know. It's very confusing.
Go on, Alex. What have you got?
Are you behind, or am I in the future?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Go on,
my first couple thoughts would be like to go back to like some live show or something like that. That was really cool. And then I thought like, hey, go back to March and do a bunch of fun stuff before the virus hit. But then I'm like thinking like I want to go back in time and just steal somebody's thunder. Like someone does something unexpected that causes a huge ruckus, and I do it right before they do. So I'll go back in time and like go to like the VMAs from like the late 2000s when Kanye West interrupted Taylor Swift and just run up and say exactly what he said right before. Just be like, hey, I don't want to be interrupt you, Taylor Swift, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time, and just see and how that reaction would just get cut off just because I'm not Kanye. The statement would have to just stand on its own. But you'd get Kanye to come out and be like, you know, he right though. he makes a good point. I was thinking the same thing. And everyone would probably hate me, but Kanye would like take me under his wing or some shit and buy me drinks for the night. I don't know.
I like that. In fact, that's a good idea. I would do that. I would go back to Alexander Graham Bell when he invented the phone, and when he's doing the big display, this is the first telephone, and I'd ring him on the phone from another phone. So he's suddenly on this telephone, and it starts ringing, and he goes, "Hello, you got your phone now, have you?"
My car insurance is up to date. Stop fucking with me.
I'm pretty sure that he picked up the
I
phone.
don't think the black's good. When you change it to a different colour, it's a bit boring, the black colour. Why don't you have it? mine's multicoloured. I've got a cover on mine, and everything is great.
Flips.
I think the first time Alexander Graham Bell answered the phone, he said, "New phone, who dis?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to know a fun fact? The first thing said on the phone is not hello. The first thing they ever said on the phone was ahoy. People used to say ahoy.
Right. Ahoy, hoy. That's why Mr. Burns says it on The Simpsons.
Burns says it. Hoy hoy.
Oh, does he? So.
Yeah.
Right, next question.
Who's next? Alex, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I got one.
Go on. It's with it.
What is one thing that instantly makes your day better? One thing that happens often enough, I guess. One thing that when it happens, your day's better.
That's a good question.
I'm trying to remember the last time I had a good day. It's been so long.
Okay, visual.
Didn't get coronavirus.
I don't know. Going outside, shaking somebody's hand.
Whoa.
I don't know what that. Looking at X-rays.
If I catch a ditto,
Dittos.
Oh,
if I catch a ditto on Pokemon Go,
Damn.
did not know what that is.
it's a very rare Pokemon, and you feel you're pretty fucking smug for the rest of the day.
It looks like the screen on your phone is broken. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Or a
Weird
ghost.
purple
You've been
splotch
haunted.
on it. What's going on? Wipe that off. Yeah, there it is.
Wipe that off.
That is weird.
You don't need that on there. Get a screen protector. What's wrong with you?
You're supposed to put the phone down before you finish.
Smash.
Put it off to the side.
I take a picture every single time I get one. I get so excited.
Well, there you go. Alexander Graham Bell would be proud. That's what he invented it for. He said, I hope one day somebody uses this machine to catch fictional things and have them on their phone.
I'm sure he would say, ahoy, ahoy, I caught a Pokemon.
What's the Pokemon? I don't know.
Whenever I'm on like Netflix or like Hulu or HBO or just whatever like streaming service, if they like release like an old like cartoon show that I used to watch when I was a kid that I get to now view with adult eyes, that always makes my day better. If they like there's some sort of old show instead of something brand new, something real fucking old. It's like the Banana Splits or some random shit. It's like, let me look at this with adult eyes. And then I don't care what my reaction is. If I like it more, if I like it less, either way, I always enjoy that. Just finding old stuff. I like that.
I like that.
I did that the other day with Sister. Netflix put Sister up, and I absolutely adore it. And then I took 5 minutes out of my day to Google what Roger is up to now, and Roger is up to children. Do not Google Roger.
Like like he has kids? Like
he's our age, and his wife is 17. So that's what Roger's doing right now.
They're more available at that point. You don't have to clear your schedule out, try and figure out when you're gonna meet up. They're not doing anything.
Yeah. I like that.
And they are bye. That's enough. It was last time I fucked up.
Attention,
was
you.
my turn. It's not my joke. It's Hannibal Buress' joke. I promise. I saw Hannibal Buress on tour. He did it. I'm sorry. I fucked up twice.
See, I like it. I like it when I think I've thought of a new joke. So that bit where you think you've got a new joke, and then you tell, and then you have to do that thing where should I Google it and think, have I just nicked that joke? Have I just remembered it, or is it new? So the bit where you think it was new before you check and found out that you just heard it.
That it's actually John Mulaney, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna tuck that. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that joke.
You start going up and start thinking somebody else's accent. You go, oh, wait a minute, why am I saying? Oh yeah, no.
That's because Eddie Murphy did it. God.
Everybody. I mean, yeah.
I thought that was clever.
I've never had anyone say it at a show though. Never had anyone say to me, "Oh, I've heard that joke before." So that's my paranoia that I get up on stage and I say a joke and they go, "Oh, heard that before." Yeah. Oops. Nicked it.
I wrote a joke a couple years ago about adding punctuation to traffic signs, right? So it'd be like instead of no U-turn, it'd be like no, comma, U-turn, right? Like the opposite. And then there was one that was like duck hunting ahead. Yeah, the comma, it's duck hunting ahead, right? And then at the end it was lane merges right. But then you just put like a question mark at the end of it. It's like lane merges, right? I thought that was so funny. And a friend of mine, I wrote the joke and I did it on 3 shows in a weekend. And the 3rd show, my friend was like, oh, hey, that's a Seinfeld joke. I go, really? He goes, yeah, it's also a Louis C.K. joke. And I go, really? He goes, yeah, I saw the 2 of them talking about how everybody has a joke like that in their first 4 years. And I was like, all right, well, at least I'm on the right track. But yeah, I mean, that's
you're getting there.
Right. I mean, I was like, it could be. It's better than if it's a Gabriel Iglesias joke. I don't want to be involved in that.
It's Carlos Mencia joke.
Well, a Carlos Mencia joke. Who did he take it from?
Yeah.
All right. Next question then. Everyone's answered, haven't they?
I believe so.
Okay, here we go.
He's pulling a joke out of the 3rd best Marigold Hotel or whatever the fuck.
Oh, here we go then. What city is overrated? What city is overrated? Put it out there.
I'd say Cleveland, but that's already not that high rated. I didn't like Cleveland.
Make it even lower.
Yeah, that says a lot.
It's already low. You want to take it down.
Than people think it is.
Yeah. People are like, we're gonna go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm like, you're not gonna walk around it. You're gonna go straight to it.
I like the Cleveland area for comedy though, because there's just so much around. There's Cleveland and Akron. There's like a bunch of places around there, and there's a lot of people who travel between those 3 cities. Cleveland, Akron. Oh, and then there's a club in Cuyahoga Falls that's over there too. So people travel within that area, which is pretty cool. But yeah, there's nothing to do in Cleveland. It really kind of sucks.
A lot of
Cleveland's a killer, then, eh?
I don't.
Go on, Lucy. What's yours?
Paris.
Oh, I was going to say Paris. Go on, and why do you like?
Oh, I mean, you can have Paris. I'll go Berlin. Paris.
We'll always
it's
have Paris.
€9 for pint. Yeah, I know. We'll always have Paris. It's €9 for a pint. It's covered in dog shit. It's the most horrible place to drive. Everything is overpriced. It's just nasty. But that's only because I've driven my truck many, many times, and I can say to you, it's nasty. And even when we've stayed at, had to stay at the stadium for a couple of days, I had to stay in around Paris for a couple of days. You don't go out. You don't go anywhere. There is nothing that you want to see. It's just litter, dog shit, overpriced, and people are rude.
I'm going to change my answer now. Now that no Paris has been taken. Are you ready? This might upset you, Lucy, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think Cardiff's got to be up there. Cardiff's got to be up there as overrated.
Yeah.
I'll give you 2 reasons why. Right?
From the castle.
Castle's quite nice, but the rest. And 1, it's in the middle of nowhere. up at what's in the middle of Wales, obviously, but it's like forever to get there. And then they called this. I've always had to say this. They called the main arena where they do all the big shows, all the concerts, the Cardiff Indoor Arena, and then they shorten it to the CIA. And they're like, there's somebody else out there with that initials. Change the initials. That the kind of mentality where you think, we'll call us the CIA. Has anyone heard that initial before? I've never heard that initial anyway. Let's call it. We'll be there. And the first time when you hear the CIA, you think, yes, that's the Cardiff Indoor Arena.
That's not nearly as bad as the Cardiff University National Theatre. That place, they really need to change their. They would
have just gone with it. They would have just gone that. They would just say, let's just have that title. Let's have that title. And don't think it means anything else. And I went, because I did go. I went to see a concert there while I'm thinking about it. And then they had it was REM, so it was REM, and it had like when they come up the start and it shows all the places we've been. It went New York. New Orleans, and then it was all the other capitals, and then it went Cardiff. I like their ambition that they were equal to all these other places, and I like that about them. And they don't care about other people taking the initials first. They're going to have the initials. To hell with everybody else. That's why. But yeah.
Well, they don't even have the CIA anymore. A lot of stadiums have done this thing where they completely change their name for money. So now the CIA is the Motor Point Arena. It's called Quantico Music. But it's Motor Point. It's not even memorable now. It's just all the major stadiums in the UK are, if you throw some money at them, they will fucking change their names to the most ridiculous. Like M&S Bank is the Echo Arena in Liverpool. You've got Principality. You've got any building society or bank or shop with a lot of money. You could just buy a stadium chain.
That's not why they changed it. They kept changing it because they kept getting phone calls going, have you found the jackal? Have you found the jackal yet? And they were going, what? They go, have you found the jackal? I don't know, there's no jackal here. Play by it. They're trying to sell tickets to see Gory looking chain. And these people keep ringing up.
I'm gonna go with Mar del Plata in Argentina. I'm really, and I'm not trying to be obscure. Like I was originally gonna say Pittsburgh, but then I realized there's really nothing wrong with Pittsburgh. It's just every time I go to Pittsburgh, I have a bad time, but it's not their fault. But people in Argentina talk about Mar del Plata like it's this gorgeous, seaside town. Have you ever been to Atlantic City? That's what Mar del Plata is. Mar del Plata is the art. Imagine if it was Atlantic City, but it's also in a third world country. So it's really like it's a shithole. And people in Argentina, because I guess the beaches are really beautiful, but I'm not big on beaches. So to me, it's just
sounds like a Trump tweet.
I don't think we have the same kind of reach here that I need to worry about what I say or affecting anyone's opinion.
Stocks are dropping.
Banned from Argentina. Lucy, do you want to give us another one then?
Yeah, I'm just fishing it out. Oh God, that's pretty much the same question. Okay. All right. Do you write with a pen, a phone, or a computer?
I do. I
have to write with a pen. I do you?
Yeah, because I used to write with, but then it ends up really scrappy, and then I usually just I usually text myself it, and then I'll copy it into a spreadsheet. It's my new system, and then the spreadsheet, then I can edit it a lot easier because it always comes out just as. Because more and more now it comes out as a paragraph, or it comes like as a series of jokes rather than one single joke. So then I just do it in like text speak, and then send it to myself, and then I can edit it later. Otherwise, I have to write it down, then I have to type it into the spreadsheet. It just takes twice as long. But I used to write it all
Yeah,
down.
I write it down, and then I type it up, and it takes fucking ages. And there's loads of jokes that have fallen by the wayside based on my laziness. But I'm aware.
The ones that got away.
So the question is, do you write with a pen, a notebook, or a computer? Right? A pen. What is it? Say it again.
A pen, a phone, or a computer.
Okay, I got you. See, because I wrote down yes to that.
With a pen. I like it.
With a pencil, actually, I wrote that down with a pen. I write with everything. Usually, I'll start with my phone, but then if I've got like a bunch of ideas I want to jot down for something like this, I'll do it with a pencil. And then when I'm working on something that's like a larger, once I've already got the ideas and I'm sort of fleshing it out, I'll work on the computer.
Yeah. Computer's easier for editing, that's right. I use it for editing a lot.
Yeah.
Just edit and re-edit and re-edit. If you do it on paper, it just takes forever.
And it's easier to see. It's easier on a big screen on a computer to see all the ideas and how things relate than it is on a phone. A phone is like the best way to look at it is one idea at a time on a phone, which is not good for when you're fleshing things out.
What about you, Alex?
It's I'm old school, so it's pen mainly. I write down everything, and if something's like needs to be bigger, or like you said, needs to be edited, and it transfers to digital. But I usually just write everything down. I remember it better. It's more in the moment. I can always bring it with me if I'm out somewhere. I can just like boom, write it down. There is no boot it up, open a window, nothing of that shit. I can just write it right down, and then I can fuck with it later. I find jokes like on scraps of paper, and like in my pockets, and it'll just be like, and it's like, and I realize that you have to kind of write a little bit of the context. You can't just write punchlines. You gotta. So it'll be like, you'd be like premise, and then around it will be a bunch of other shit to make it make sense. And some of those land, and then some of those I'm not in the headspace ever again. So it all depends. But on paper, ride or die.
Yeah, love it.
Are you guys like me? Just before you go to bed, before you close your eyes, you come up with an amazing idea for a joke, and I will text myself that joke. But because I'm tired, I'll forget all the words that are used. So I'll wake up to 6 maybe connected words with no context direct. It'll just be like I was just playing a game, maybe some sort of like school game where I have to make a story out of these 6 random words, like cat spots happy. What?
Make it work.
Yeah. That's the worst. Whenever I'm going to sleep and then I go on, start getting the ideas and I start sending them off, and I get to the stage where I think, is this worth me texting myself? Is this going to be rubbish in the morning? Sometimes next morning you get up and you go, oh, they're all rubbish. Why did I even? But then you're like, at the time you think it's great and you think, I'll send it. It's going to be good. The next day you're like, oh, what was a waste of a text.
Marijuana does that to me all by itself. I don't have to sleep. I'll just get high. Be like, everything I ever thought of sucks. I'm the worst comic on earth. I'm hungry. You know that?
I think the added bonus of using a pen. The added bonus of using a pen is if you like to drink, trying to decipher your handwriting the next day. Now that is a skill.
Yeah.
There's a joke in there. It's just the Da Vinci Code.
That's one reason I stopped doing writing so much, because I couldn't read it the next day. I'm like, what is that? I couldn't even read the start of it and figure out the end. What is it?
Why not get a fresh napkin? Why is it wet in the middle?
Oh, bits of paper. I used to have all the little scraps of paper. Just rip a tiny bit of paper, put down the bucket. You take it out, like,
Clean up the bitch. I should have got on the phone. I don't know. All right, who's got that? I think it's me. Hold on.
Come on, Alex. Hit it with.
Here we go. What was your favorite food place when you were a kid? So you can't even read that. My handwriting's there. There it is. Favorite food place from childhood.
That's pretty easy. It's definitely 100% McDonald's. Definitely 100% McDonald's. When I was a kid, I mean, it's not even. But when I was a kid, I used to think that that chicken nuggets were the greatest thing in the history of the world. And I'll tell you, I'm 43, so when I was a kid, they actually had different chicken nuggets. They're different now. I wouldn't eat them now anyway, but they were the greatest thing in the world. I would eat that. My father would tell you, I would eat that every meal of the day.
They were bigger back then. They're thinner now.
They're thinner. It's a different kind of the skin, not the skin, the coating. I think is probably more accurate.
The skin's all gone now.
The wrapping, the wrapping is
plastic coating.
Yeah, it's a
crunchy cellophane.
Right. It's a whole different kind of thing now. It used to be. I don't know. I used to like it a lot, but now I mean, I wouldn't eat that now anyway. But yeah, when I was a kid, that was it. Definitely McDonald's.
Go on, Alex. What have you got?
Old Country Buffet, just any buffet place. Like I just like the idea of like I can go handle it myself. It's like I have all this shit to choose from, and I can just pick as much as I want. I can just gorge myself, and I can have and just go in. Doesn't matter. No one's gonna tell me anything. But then I went back to Old Country Buffet as an adult, and I'm like, I don't want to eat any of this food. I came back with a plate of like rice and corn when I went back as an adult. I'm like, damn, I already paid them too. I can't be like, oh, I take it back. They're like, you should have thought that before you entered this building.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Still, but
you like buffets?
I like certain buffets. I'm far more selective than I used to be. But like a Chinese buffet, I still fuck with sometimes. I'll eat myself into oblivion. And like sometimes like there's a fancy like hotel breakfast spot in town here that does a buffet. And it'll be like fancy to where they'll have like the meat and there'll be a dude with like a heat lamp and they'll be cutting off slices for you, that kind of buffet. You know, there's a piano in there, like that kind of shit. Like somehow they made it fancy. They do this like Sunday brunch situation, and that shit's real nice. Like they'll make a waffle in front of you. Like there'll be like a whole like a waffle pan. They'll put the batter, they'll mix it up, and they'll put it in there. Like what you want in this batter, and they'll bake that shit and then hand it right to you. Like that kind of shit. That shit's real nice. Every now and then I want to eat myself into a nap. So buffets still.
I'm sorry, buffets are gross. Buffets are like, you know what's good with food that's been sitting out for an hour? Another person's germs. It's just I'll never be able to get past it. I mean, it seems like I'm also like not a big eater anymore. I eat very small. So for me, the allure of the buffet is somehow getting over on the restaurant. I'm going to eat more than the amount of food that I paid for. Yeah. And I got to be honest, I'm the guy who's evening that out because I go to the buffet. It's like you said, you go there and you get like a rice. I went to a Golden Corral and I was like, damn, they don't even have any vegetables. Like I thought there'd be a salad bar. Like
the salad bar is just iceberg. Like it's not even iceberg and arugula.
Yeah, and then next to it, it's like the rest of the salad bar is like 14 different kinds of macaroni salad. That's not salad. If it's got bacon in it already, it's not a salad.
Not a salad. If it's just cherry tomatoes and croutons, you're not there yet.
You can't candy a salad.
Get them. When I used to live in the Middle East, I used to do amazing buffets were always unlimited alcohol, unlimited food. Everything we cooked there in front of you. So they'd all have the different. Every station would have its own chef that would cook it for you, the steaks or whatever you wanted to be made. But it was messy and it was always expats, and you would start about 11, 12, and you'd be finished by 3, and everyone would come out, falling over. We'd have cocktail stations, and it was messy. But yeah, I used to
with that.
Can't do it anymore though. Yeah, go on, Lucy. What's yours?
My favourite when I was growing up was a place called the Ponteguindi. It was a beef eater, and if we went there, it was for a big family meal. So it was usually a special occasion. And even though I don't like prawn cocktails, I like watching other people eat prawn cocktails because the prawns hang over the glass. I'm only about 6 or 7 or 8 or something, and they'd give you a steak knife, and that made me feel dangerous.
You were armed. You could relax then.
Don't you touch my plate.
In Wales. I'm armed now. I'm all right.
You know what's
I
weird?
used to have chicken satay to start, steak with peppercorn sauce, and then I can't remember what we'd have for dessert, but I can remember sitting there on the round table, all four of us, vividly.
If you told me that they didn't call it shrimp cocktail in the UK, I would not expect that the different word was shrimp. It would seem to me that the cocktail part would be the part that would be different. Right, because it's just a shrimp. Why would you change the word shrimp out of a shrimp cocktail? I don't know. I expect shrimp chalice. Maybe I thought maybe that's a UK thing, right? Like right, like chalice of shrimp. I believe that 100%. But prawns, I don't know. It's strange to me that that's what you chose to change.
Prawn cocktail.
Yeah, we call it shrimp cocktail. It's strange to me. All right, never.
It's true.
But I like the way the Americans call them French fries, and the French don't eat them. Well, I don't know why that came across. He goes,
No.
we're gonna call them French fries because the French don't like to eat them.
Freedom.
Freedom fries.
No, we call them French fries because they're nasty.
So do you,
Just like all French people.
you know, with your shrimp cocktail, do you have a sauce of 1,000 islands? Is it 1,000 Island dressing that you have with prawn cocktail? The sauce of 1,000 islands.
It's like a cocktail
No.
sauce.
Cocktail sauce.
Yeah, it's like that. It's always that red sauce, right? It's like that.
I fuck with that red sauce though. I like
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah, I'll eat the red
it's
sauce.
half mayonnaise, half ketchup.
Yeah. It's like a weird, not quite anything kind of sauce. You just know it's the right color. You really you can taste like anything. You just know it by the color.
It's the right color. As a child, that was my whole thing. It's like I only like sauces that are red. When in the 90s, when they came up with the purple ketchup, I'm like, fuck you. That's not funny. Give me this sauce that I want in the color that I want. I was very sauce racist.
See, the best thing about America is the breakfast. When America decided they were going to have sausages, bacon, and pancakes and waffles on the same plate, and that was going to be the dessert and your main meat. He said, you know what would go good with this sweet stuff? Meat. Let's put loads of meat with the sweet, and everyone was fine. And then maple syrup over everything. That's a revelation. That is like just cut the middleman out. You just put it all on the one plate. I love that. Whenever I go to America, I always have that.
It sucks to be an American and travel to other countries because breakfast is almost always hugely disappointing because nobody values it the way that Americans value it. And I didn't even realize, like, I remember, like, I was in Israel and like, it's like these tiny little, like rolls, and it'll be like like you're lucky to get an egg. Like if you have an egg, you got to be prawn holy grail. I like that a lot. And then they have this weird orange juice in Israel. They call it Prigat, and it's just like watered down orange juice. It's very strange. It's like somebody didn't understand they like tried to make Kool-Aid with the wrong kind of teaspoon. It's like, oh no, this is a British teaspoon, so we didn't put enough Kool-Aid into it. That's what it tastes like. It's not very. And in Argentina, it sucks too. They have they do like the one thing they do in Argentina that's cool is caramel, but they don't give you anything cool to put it on. It's just really your best bet is just a spoon. That's your best bet to have a good breakfast in Argentina.
I remember when I was in Israel, they had these yogurts. Israel's like a hot place, so they had these yogurts they didn't keep in the fridge, and it was really hot. And they were going, "Do you want this yogurt?" And I was like,
Oh.
"It's warm." And they go, "Yeah, well, you don't need it. It doesn't need to be refrigerated." Like, how does that work? But it was everywhere. I was like, "Oh," but it was nice, but. I'm not sure it was yogurt, maybe it was something else, but it was definitely in a yogurt pot. But it was heat proof.
Warm yogurt.
That seems to be missing a crucial step. It's like, I don't fuck with sushi. It's like, what do you mean you didn't cook it?
Yeah.
Like you gotta cook the food. Like I come here, you cook, I eat. You can't just be like, and we have it, so you take it. I'm like, no, it's okay. But I gotta take it home and cook it myself. That's a grocery store.
Why do they cook the rice? See, they cook the rice. See,
you might as well leave it in the package.
What gets me is they cooked the rice, so the rice was hot, and they just let it go cold. So they did not cook it; they cooked the rice bit, and then they just let it go cold. To me, that's just laziness. You could have given me it hot, at one point the rice was hot, but then you decided, I can't be asked. I'll just cook it yesterday and give you the rice cold. Makes no sense. Have we got time for one last question, or should we go to the final question?
If we go to the final question.
Final one. Lucy, do you want to ask it? This is your favourite question.
Okay. Here's my favourite question. So, Adam, every single guest that we have on, we ask them the same question. Don't want them to do it until it's time, it's live, because, quite frankly, every motherfucker has got a different reason for why they choose their choice. So, I'm not going to give you any more information than the following sentence. Adam, which would you choose? A magic carpet or a flying horse? And go.
I'm gonna go with a magic carpet. And, it's very intimidating to hear that everybody has answered this question before, because I feel like there's no way that I could possibly come up with something you guys haven't heard. But I'll tell you, to me, I like the idea of a magic carpet. I like the idea of a magic carpet because that way, when you're not flying on it, it's just a carpet, right? Like, and everybody can use an extra carpet. And plus, when you got to clean under it, it's super easy. The thing will just go, and then you just vacuum right under the thing, and you can move it over to the other part of your apartment. Meanwhile, if you got a horse, when you're not riding it, then you just have a horse that's just shitting in your house, and then that you got to clean under all the time. And I imagine it's pretty hard to get that thing to move, right? Because it's a horse. Plus, my ceilings are low, so I would definitely not want a horse.
I like the way you're bringing the horse into your house. So you're not very trusting. I ain't letting that horse out my sight.
I have an apartment.
In the spare room.
Everything I have is in my house. I mean, I'm not. Am I renting stable? If I have to rent stable space for this thing, then there's not even an argument. I don't even know why. Would you rather have a carpet that will save you from cold feet, or would you rather spend $250 for somebody to feed and care for a horse that probably isn't going to be able to fly because you live under the flight path of LaGuardia, right? Like that's. I gotta dodge planes anyway, so the least I could do is, have a rug.
But no one said you didn't have to keep the horse in your house. What would you do if somebody gave you a car? Would you go, I've got no room in my house for a car. Where am I going to put a car? What room is this car going in?
I can't park a car on the street in front of my house. I can't park a car. I live in Brooklyn. If you have something you park, the only reason to have is you got to move it to the other side of the street. I mean, the only reason to have a car is just to drive it from the Tuesday side to the Thursday side, and then back over to the Tuesday side. And then, God forbid, you live in the town where it's Tuesday, Friday, and Wednesday, Saturday. Legitimately, there's more places, there's more days of the week where you can't park your car in your neighborhood than there are that you can. I'm not parking. I mean, I can't. No, it's got to be in my apartment.
I'd love to see you on a game show, and you won a brand new Porsche. Where am I going to park this? Where is this going to be parked?
You sell it immediately.
Which of the girls is the horse? He said, okay, somebody made a comment. Oh, that was derogatory. Oh, now it's not nice because I know Lucy's got a little bit of I never watched the show either, but that seemed like the thing I was
going to say. One.
So thinking about this question.
That she has a horse, but she lives the horse in the back garden in New York. That's the only thing. So you got to believe it's there's a place in New York with a back garden.
That's a little unbelievable.
That's actually not. No, actually,
I would have given it a chance if I didn't know that.
To be honest, I do have a back garden in my apartment, but the people who live above me, it's part of their rent. So I don't. Maybe I could keep a horse back there.
You could plant something. You could take the Wi-Fi and plant some tomatoes or something. I don't know.
I guess I could have like pony rides, right? The horse would just go back and forth. Like there's basically enough room for the horse to turn around. It would just be the horse turning around in the backyard. It'd be like a Disney kind of thing.
Like it can fly, so you could let it go up. What's above the house?
Like I said, I live in the flight path of LaGuardia, so it really, I'd have to register the horse. Either way, I got to register this thing. Either way, I got to register this thing. Don't go flying around New York in something that's not registered. Trust me.
There'd be some drugs test. Every pilot coming in would be good. I just saw a flying horse, right? Get the drugs test. You're not flying out again.
All the more reason to get a flying carpet because that's far more believable. Everybody understands the flying carpet.
It's free by. But that could be the wind, like a hurricane or something, like in a Yellowbrick Road thing.
So
I might have to change my
I have
answer.
to say, Adam, even though that was there was a lot of pressure on you, but Adam, you managed to answer that question differently to any of our previous guests. So there's no fear about that.
I guess that says a lot about your
There's-
previous guests. It says that probably shows that you've had some better people on here.
No, we've had some really
No one else
worrying
considered the flight path.
answers.
People just didn't care. You know, it's like. But yeah, I like the responsibility. That's very responsible. You consider the flight. I have looked at the flight path over my house, and it's not viable.
I mean, if you look at the if you look at the map of, and you look where Newark and LaGuardia and JFK are within, you can't. And then there's all the heliports. You really can't fly anything around New York. It's really just not possible. I mean, that really should have just been my answer. What city am I moving to?
It's practical.
Anyway, good luck selling the house.
It's not my house, and hopefully they let me stay here because I like this place because it's got the hooks for the hats. So I don't want to have to move somewhere else and hang up the hooks. That's
At the right height, you can see it.
Exactly. Perfect for everything.
You ain't got to bend over to grab them.
I do have to bend over occasionally to duck underneath them, but there's one of them. It's a low ceiling. It's like I said.
You know, I gotta add one more thing to this question.
Go on.
Mm-hmm.
The magic carpet in the movie, at least Aladdin anyway, had its own personality.
Yeah.
I know this has probably come up at some point, but I have the magic carpet. Does the magic carpet have me? How does it feel about me? Because if I come home and that magic carpet is like fucking my blankets, we're gonna have some issues. It's gonna be like, if it's just nutting on all the soft surfaces it finds attractive, that's not gonna be good for me. And I'm clumsy. If I spill something on said magic carpet, are we gonna fight now? I think I can throw hands, but I don't think I could beat up a carpet. I think it would wrap me up and it would be very quick. So I think I would probably have a better relationship with a horse. I know how to buy apples. That's all I'm saying.
You're going to come home one day and find a half carpet, half rug.
Exactly.
Tiny half rugs.
I need consistency in my textiles. I can't have no half moves. I'm textile.
I think we can definitely assume magic carpet is going to be Scotch guarded. It's going to be stain proofed. I think if they were going to give it a personality, they would pay in the extra £20 to get the coating. I think it would be stain free. That's just my assumption. And I think your rug would rather you spill water on your rug than water on your horse, because your horse would get spooked.
I thought you were going to say the carpet was going to be neutered. That's where I thought you were going. I thought you would have got the carpet neutered. So before you got the carpet, we made sure it was neutered.
I'm not looking under that carpet. I respect its privacy.
That'll be done before you get it.
Why is the carpet hanging out with you if it doesn't like you, right? It makes no sense that the carpet would live there anyway, right?
What if we're roommates and we started out on good terms, but then it kind of dropped over time?
And I'd like to see you, the shrink, and the carpet. You go, well, he just walks all over me. He walks all over me. Never listens to me. Never watch what I watch on the TV.
So you're saying like it's kind of like an Odd Couple thing, right? Like on November 13th, this carpet was asked to remove himself from his place of residence. Like that's like he's got nowhere else to go. Is that the thing? And I guess you're the Felix, and you're always like, get up so I can clean under you, right? And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. Or is it the other way around? Are you the Oscar?
Who knows? That's just something to consider.
I'd like the carpet to be the slob. That'd be better. The carpet just making a mess all the time when you're out.
I guess it would be hard for the carpet to be the Felix and then vacuum itself. That'd be really, I can't imagine that. That's very hard. I imagine.
Difficult.
Yeah, I like it.
Right, boys. Now that we've finished talking about what your carpets think of you, we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank Adam very, very much for coming on because he's got another show today. What are the details for the next show you've got on adamtellsjokes.com, or do you have a comedy page that you would rather direct our listeners and viewers to?
Well, don't go watch a show that I'm doing in 3 hours because you heard everything. I'm just gonna. It doesn't matter what they say. I'm just gonna answer all the questions with the same answers that I gave you. So don't go watch that show. But yeah, no.
Where am I going to put the horse? Start with that. See, where am I putting the flying horse?
They're going to be very confused when they ask me what I think about the election, and I tell them why I'd rather have a magic carpet than a flying horse. The best way to get me is always going to be my website, which is adamtellsjokes.com. Honestly, when it comes to Zoom shows, I'm a little bit lazy about putting them up because I haven't quite figured out how to direct people. But that's the best way to get. I got videos on there, and you always get it's the best way to get in touch with me. adamtellsjokes.com.
Great website.
I know. Again, thank you very much, Adam, for coming. Leon, always a pleasure. Alex, it is so lovely to see your wonderful face. Thank you very much, everybody that has tuned in. Please set your alarms for this time. For 6 days and 23 hours next week. But yes, every Sunday at 10 p.m. on all the Joke Pit Promote Comedy platforms, on Big World Small Talk on Facebook. And if you want to get in touch with us on the Twitter, we are at Big World Comedy. If you've got any ideas for any questions that we can put in our jars, please get involved on the tweetery things and twitch your stuff to us with pens and stuff, because comedians need questions. So thank you very much. Please like and share this. Yes, Adam. Everyone wave bye because we are ending broadcast. See you all next week. Bye. Bye.